think it's recording. It is. Okay. So I usually start with single player, obviously. 36. You always want to start in 36. I do anyway. That way you got a few years to build what you want to build and customize things the way you want it to be. Germany's the easiest to start with. Okay. Start with civilian. It's going to be obviously again the easiest, and always keep this checked to start with. Later on you can get into some custom games where you don't want the AI to focus historically, but at least this way you have some idea of what Russia's going to do, what the United Kingdom's going to do, France, etc. If that's loud, I'll turn that down. Audio. Let's turn down some of this stuff here. Okay. Okay, so to start with, organizing armies. So if you left click, drag, you can highlight very specific units, or you can click on and then shift and click and highlight several, like you were doing, highlighting several columns in a Excel spreadsheet or whatever. Same kind of concept with the shift key, or yeah. So highlight those, go down here, click plus. Now you've got 4 units, and you can go up here to the commander and select the commander. Heinz Guderian has already got the Panzer leader stuff, so I always pick him for Panzers. Okay, then you've got everything else, so highlight like this, grab the rest of the guys, get rid of this. Now you'll create another army, and those armies go up here. So with this, you can assign like a theater commander, and the theater commander will be Gerd. So if you left click up here and right click, you can move them to like a reserve or active. I usually keep my tanks in a separate command. So that gets all those guys into one. I usually move everybody out of here. You can keep guys up here if you really want to. And then I always kind of combine my fleets. Surface fleet with surface fleet, submarines with submarines. Everything here is a submarine. Everything there is a submarine, so I'll go ahead and move those over to here. That surface fleet is going over here to join that surface fleet. And then all of these guys on this side are going to be... so if it does that to you, because you've selected the Navy before, go back over here and click on the guy. That'll concentrate everything on the guys here. So here we go, and new unit. This will be the French side, and we'll put student in charge. And I always kind of consolidate my units here, so I can keep track of where everything's at. And then, okay, so setup. So now we've got kind of that stuff done. You've got all kinds of airplanes out here that you're going to use for a couple of years. You can keep them active, but as you produce, you will be producing a lot of this stuff. I mean, not initially anyway. Later on, you will, but it's so hard to get any kind of production out of it if you spread out your production too much. I always try to concentrate on getting fighters created and everything first before I start trying to do tactical bombers and close air support and bombers and everything. Get the fighters in the air first, because the fighters are what's going to win the battles for you. They fly, cap missions and air superiority missions. I'll show you that here in a second. But so let's just start with This is your decisions. All of these decisions cost capital points, command points. So, and you'll gain those as you go. And I'll show you that. Where are they at? Right here. So if you highlight stuff up here, it'll show you like your base value, your ruling party popularity. This is your war support. This is your manpower, how many manpower you have free. Use how many in your army, how many in your air and navy. Now every one of your air units, every one of these takes up a certain number of air units, a certain number of manpower, and it'll tell you as you're creating them how many manpower you're going to use to create them. This is your factories. This is your oil and oil production. This is your logistics fulfillment, so your trains and trucks and convoys. Mostly that's self-managed. You can build things to help create that and move that faster, but for the most part, that's pretty much that's managed by itself. You don't have to worry about where the trains are going. You just got to build the fucking tracks for them to go on. Convoys, same thing. Build the convoys, and they'll kind of guard themselves. They do get sank, but they'll for the most part guard themselves. So research, I always start with industrial research. Get industry moving, because the more industry you have, the faster you can build everything. You know, you build your all your different factories. The two different base kind of factories, the civilian factories and the military factories. So the faster you can build those things, then the faster you can output equipment and output more factories and output everything basically. So that's those two things to start with. Electrical engineering. So this is where radios and radar come into play. Radar is very, very, very important especially with naval vessels. It gets more important later on in the game as you go through for like land, but I wouldn't worry about building any of these yet. It's good to have them, but this is where it gets better. Mechanical computing, and then and as you go through, you get more encryption and decryption capabilities. So I always throw one in here, and then infantry. Get your infantry stuff built up. That's kind of the first thing. Okay, now all this stuff up here is what the game is trying to bring your attention to. So the next thing, free civilian factories. So this is where your civilian factories build either more civilian factories or military factories or naval dockyards. And infrastructure, airbase. So infrastructure is kind of the overall arching, infrastructure within that territory. All the little dirt roads and gravel roads and stupid bullshit. The higher the infrastructure, the more supplies can flow through that territory to your troops. Okay, and then there are railways. Now, railways can go up to 5. Now, if you go over here to this little icon right here, it's called Supply Map Mode, shortcut F4. So if you click on F4, it'll show you your supply map mode is pretty blue right now, which is really good. That's no problem for supply. When you put a whole bunch of units in one place, you'll see that area kind of turn red or orange. If it gets to red, it means you're out of supply there, right? So in supply map mode, you can click on your supply hubs. Now in the supply hub, there is this button right here, and it'll upgrade bottlenecks. And basically what that means is it's going to put stuff, so you clicked it here and it put it into production here, right? So then click it again and again, and basically what it's going to do is upgrade all these railroad tracks all the way back to your supply point, which is Berlin, until it has upgraded everything to level 5, so you can move the most amount of supplies through to your supply depot. Now I don't want to do that stuff yet, but so I'll just get rid of all this stuff. And if you hit enter, it'll automatically select OK. So it's an easy way to get through some of that, because it's going to bring up every time you try to delete something, it's going to bring up that, hey, do you really want to do this thing? Hit enter and it'll automatically click OK for you. Okay, so what I usually end up doing is, because you want more civilian factories, because right now you only have this many civilian factories available, right? So I want to build more civilian factories. And where I want to build more civilian factories is, this got 7 available, that's got 2, that's got 6, so I'll start here. So I'm going to throw 7 more civilian factories in this spot here. Then military factory. I want to keep my military factories away from the front and away from their bombers, so I'm going to build my military factory back here. So there's 7 more of those. And then civilian factory again, we'll go here. No. Yeah. That's fine. So 7 more there, and then another military factory. We'll go back here. Okay, so, and as you, like I showed you before with the production here, as you go through and build this, it says max factories in a state plus 20%, max factory output plus 15%, dockyard output plus 10%. Now you can use either dispersed industry. This means you only choose one side, right? Something like this will say you can only choose one side. So dispersed means we're spreading your production out. It's going to slow down production a little bit, but it makes you safer against strategic bombing. This is concentrated, so you're concentrating your factories in one area, which means you get more factories in a state, more factory output, but you're more susceptible to strategic bombing. So you have to kind of decide. I usually go dispersed. So as soon as this is done, then you'll get dispersed. Then when you get this researched, you could go back to your map here and your production here. No, where's that? There we go. So your civilian factory production. It will now have like 8 slots there, so you can click on the plus. So you can click on minus or plus to create more there or less there or whatever. After you get that thing researched, it will be 8 available in each one of these, and you'll be able to put plus and create another one there. And as they get created, then that number, that green bar will go across here, it'll be created, then it'll go to 6, then it'll do it again, it'll go to 5, then it'll go do it again, 4, etc., so on and so on. So now production. This is where you all those military factories that you have that you're building here come over to here, and this is where this is where you decide which production you're going to put into military factories. Like I said, I usually don't do anything with tactical bombers or some of this stuff right away. I want to build fighters, right? So I'm going to throw 2 factories at the fighters. Now I also need a lot of infantry equipment, so we've already got that, but I'm going to do this here, and then one more in there, and there's a lot of stuff here for submarines. We'll let that create 1 and then be done. Want to be done. Want to be done. So now, as you put stuff out here, it's going to show you that you have dockyards to build, or like in this case, factories to build, right? Some of them are green, some of them are gray. Green means they are available to build. Gray means they're not. So let's take that back down to 2 because I don't want that there yet. But usually I would go through here, and then as this builds, this 2 factories that this is being built with, as this one ship gets created, then it'll take those 2 and move it down to the next one. So now this one will have 3 on it when that one's done completing. And then once that one gets built, it'll move 4 down to this one. See, etc., etc., etc. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of, I'm going to do that one and that one and that one. We'll do let that one do 1. Yeah. This one I'm just going to get rid of. And that one. And then what you want to do too is make sure you're building convoys. So by the time this gets all the way through to here, you're going to want to, yeah, so you're going to have 10 factories to use, 10 dockyards. So I'm going to throw 5 into destroyers and have it building destroyers. Then this one will build 1 and be done. This one's going to be build 10. This one's going to build 1, and then this infinity thing means it's just going to keep building and building and building until you're done, right? And then you can you can pick which fleet you want this to go to. So this is the main submarine fleet. We'll put that there. Main submarine fleet. So you can tell it which one to go to, so it doesn't just go to a random port. And then Hoxie Flotta is the main surface fleet. So we'll throw everything at Hoxie Flotta. Okay. Then this equipment is for your infantry, your tanks and stuff that you will build here in a minute, and I'll show you that. Now this up here is what you have for oil available. Rubber, we're a little short on rubber. I'm going to go ahead and do this and this. And then as we build more factories, it will fill this stuff in. I want this up here before, yeah. And then as we build more factories, it'll fill this in first, then this, then this, then this. So if you want to make sure you have fighters, you can put that all the way to the top. I usually do it about here. So you can decide how your manufacturing is distributed. Next, recruit and deploy. So this is where you would recruit troops based on how much manpower you have, and then see, this one uses light tanks and motorized infantry. This is recon company, that's engineering company, build bridges and stuff. This is support artillery. Now you can select, once you have victory points, command power, you can select and add new items to each one of these, but we don't have any command power to do that yet. Usually what I start with is, and then, so that's going to create 6 units of infantry. And what I usually do is do 4 of those. Location, just throw them out here anywhere, it doesn't really matter. Brandenburg, fine. So they'll be created and put and placed here once they're done training. And then all of that equipment they're using will be utilized by what you're building here. Tanks will be using tanks, you know, all your rifles and bullshit will be used by all your different infantry units, mountaineers, cavalry, motorized or mechanized, and tanks. Logistics, don't really need to worry about logistics. So national focus. This is where everything kind of happens. This is the way you focus what you're going to be doing. And usually I initially start over here with a 4-year plan because you want to get to this extra research slot, because that's over here. Instead of just having 4 research slots, it'll give you a 5th research slot. So I usually will come down here first, hit these here, 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 and here. So 4-year plan. 2 times 100% research bonus for industry available as political advisor. Construction speed railway, construction speed refinery. So definitely doing that. And then as you go through those, if you click on the flag too, it'll bring up your political thing and show you your political power, what party is in power right now, which is the Socialist, Nationalist Socialist, not aligned. And this is your focus tree again. So here, Army Innovations. I mean, some of these you just got to read what they do. I never do this because as soon as you become a democratic nation, you can't just go to war with anybody because you're a democracy. So being a dictator is always better for this game anyway because it's a pain in the ass to see how it turned a little pink there because it's now using a whole bunch of oh well, and I've got the game running, so let's pause the game for a minute. Space button also unpauses and pauses. So you can turn the speed all the way up and watch the time go by here. So it goes really fast. So this is insufficient resources. So you're building enough stuff that you don't have enough rubber, right? Well, the Dutch East Indies have a lot of rubber, so you're going to trade one civilian factory for 8 rubber. And that way you have enough rubber to build your trucks and your airplanes. And then if you unpause it, spacebar, now you have 2 rubber. Oh man, there's then unit movement. So if you select your 13 troops down here, the purple color, you can select what color you want them, and if you want to give them a special symbol, you can do that. I usually do that for tanks, but not for infantry. Then if you click on this one here, you can identify the front line that you want them to guard, and I'm going to have them watching the French front line. So if I click on the French front line there, I can't put troops in here because it's a demilitarized zone from the end of World War I. So until we decide that we're going to say fuck off to the rules on World War I, we can't occupy this territory. But the troops will go ahead and line themselves up down here. And as we hit pause, you can see them move down into position. Now they will sit there and then dig in those positions. And same with these guys. So you can move from naval base to naval base, and it'll automatically move transports over here, pick them up and move them over here. I'm going to join these 2 navies because we don't need and add a commander. Same here. Join these 2 navies and add a commander. And then infantry unit or Air Force. So you have 3 main map modes: your Strategic Air Force, your Navy, and here. And then there's a couple other supply modes. There's a couple other map modes that are somewhat handy. Supply mode is good. I've never really used the terrain map mode. It can be useful when you're planning an invasion or something, but I don't use it very much. Resistance map mode gets useful when you start taking over territories. Compliance I've never used. Resource. Now resource map mode I've used to decide if I want to concentrate an attack in a certain area or whatever, because I need some very specific resources. Aluminum and chromium is a big one that you'll need later on in the game. So yeah. Infrastructure map mode. So this kind of tells you where your infrastructure is rough. It gets rough out here in the Soviet Union trying to take over the Soviet Union because you run out of supplies fucking constantly. So, but here in Europe, it's not that big a deal, but you do want to build up some of that. Then factions map mode. Toggle display battle pans for other allies. I've never actually pushed that button. There's some of these I've not ever used. Unit counters between all are... Oh. Okay, so if your computer's having trouble, you can turn some of the unit counters off. This is the one I usually stay in, infantry. because this is where you're usually moving people around the most. So let's unpause it and let those guys come over here. And we'll take our, or you can click on here. And Poland. And then they position themselves around Poland. Okay. So, I mean, that's a real basic shit. And then for like this map mode here, you can click on this, and the offensive line that you want them to take, I want them to concentrate their attack to the north. So I'm going to right click and then drag like this. So they're going to push kind of this direction as they attack. Right, and then same thing with the French down here. And if you double click it, it'll center it on that army, on the map, on wherever that army is on the map. So down here, I want to concentrate this way, and I want to come up here very specifically. I want to take this area here more than this area down here, but I want them to concentrate the attack going this way. And then click on this. And now when war is declared, they will go and haul ass that direction. These guys I'm going to throw down here and make them go here. And yeah, I didn't select a commander for this guy yet, so I thought we did that. Maybe not. Man, style looks good. What else? Oh, attack. So your attack. So you got carefully executes battle plan, and it'll kind of tell you what each one of those is. This is balanced, and this is go crazy. Just push, 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 no matter what. I don't use this very much because it's dangerous. You will kill your troops off. Generally, I would use carefully executes battle plan, but once they start getting a breakthrough, then bump it up, bump the speed up, or up to here. Because once you get a breakthrough in their lines, like you get a couple of units in through here somewhere, you know, then you're not on this wicked ass front where the mountains are at and stuff. Your troops can really start pushing in here and really making some advances. So that once you get the breakthrough made, then you can start bumping up the speed or whatever that you want them, how aggressive you want them to do this. The officer corps, yes. So this stuff, your political advisors. So you can't really do anything yet because we don't have the political power. Political advisors are very important though. So yeah, and I think you have to wait until you get something else done to do that. That's kind of the basics, really quick. Oh, airplanes. So when you have airplanes, you want to click on your fighters and right click on an area you want them to cover, and then the missions type that you want them to fly is here. So I'm going to have these fighters doing air superiority. Then this tactical bomber, I'm going to have him flying in this area too and doing close air support. Pretty simple. This is a naval bomber, so I'm going to have him fly out here, and he's going to do naval strikes. Yeah, about it. Oh, Navy. I guess if you wanted to assign your Navy to do something, you click on the, well, so click on the mission type. You want to patrol, and it'll kind of tell you what each one of these does. I usually do convoy raiding, and then click on the sea zone that I want them to do. You can do a couple of sea zones, but until your Navy is very large, usually one sea zone is all you want to give them, make them concentrate on. So I'm going to do convoy raiding with this guy too. And then they will automatically do convoy raiding here and here. And these guys will not move down into here because that's in the demilitarized zone until we get which one is it? Rhineland. Once you get this one done, then that gets rid of the demilitarized zone and you'll be able to move troops into this area. Okay. Yeah, that's 30 minutes. That's going to be a huge video. I'm going to shut this off now and I'll maybe do another one later.